Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro friends. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Elixir Specialty Coffee. Head to elixirspecialtycoffee.com and use code IMAPITFORWARD to get 10% off your first purchase. Today on the Daily Coffee Pro, we are going to be talking about values. This is a great follow-up to the last episode of the Daily Coffee Pro where we talked about a disturbing letter that I had received. Excuse me. I believe that this is a topic that we don't talk about enough in our industry and we need to shed more light on, and it's a specific tool that we can use to empower both employees and employers about how they can better navigate situations so that they can hopefully land themselves in situations they want to be in and dodge bullets that may lead to instances that would prove to be undesirable, is I guess the best way I can put that. Why are our values important? Why is it important for us to go about the business of defining values? Well, for a bunch of reasons, but some of the most important ones are that your values formulate a guideline that you will adhere to in the way that you conduct yourself. You will decide that you, for example, your values are that you want to be truthful and that you are going to see situations for what they are rather than just buying into the whole cool kids crowd. Okay, that's one value that you've decided to adhere to as a person. So it guides you. It keeps those kinds of things mean that you're going to keep away from people who are all about hype and who aren't about authenticity, which is the t-shirt that I'm wearing today. Shout out to Patch Coffee who gave me this t-shirt. Values being a part of the guidelines that you adhere to is a really great reason for you to have values. Another reason is because values are a compass to your decision making. What do we mean by that? If you have a set of values that mean that you are happy to lie in order to get somewhere, if you are happy to bully people and you have to be the most important person in the room, you have to be the most powerful person in the room, winning is everything at all costs, no matter what. That's a value structure, right? And those kinds of values will determine the way that you make decisions. It means that you will fuck anybody over in order to win and be successful. That is one way that values formulate a compass towards the way that you make decisions, and as a byproduct of that, of how you will grow as a human. Okay. Now, another way that values can formulate the direction that you're going to go in is that they are boundaries for what you define as right and wrong. So what your value structure will help you determine what is right and wrong. An example of this is that, for example, I'm all about authenticity. I'm all about being a clear communicator and being open-minded, and that's my value structure, right? And so for me, whenever and some people may think that this is the right way to go about it or the wrong way to go about it, but that's the point. I believe that for me and my life experience, this is the right way to go about things. If somebody isn't able to be authentic with me, excuse me, I look at that and see that that's a red flag. For myself, so I don't have the right to judge whether what somebody else is doing is right or wrong, but I definitely have the right to judge whether what I'm doing is right or wrong. And so because of that, if I'm being inauthentic, I don't believe that that is right for me. I'll have to change my behavior in order to be in alignment with my own values. All of these things are important to define as a professional. Whether you're an employee or an employer, these things are important to define for this main reason. It allows like-minded people to find each other. So if you have gone to the trouble of defining your value structure, you can go out there and look for other people to either work for or work with the same value structure as what you have. If you haven't gone out and defined those values, you haven't got your thoughts in order about the way that you want to move forward, the people you want to work with, the kind of career that you want to have, how these people that you are choosing to align yourself with are going to either enhance or they're going to damage you. And if you align yourself with people who are not of the same value structure and they have a more destructive value structure than what you're looking for or what you're used to, they will do damage to you. As is seen from the last episode of the Daily Coffee Pro, where we spoke about a letter that somebody received that sent to me, where she had gone into a situation without having correctly assessed the value structure of the company that she was working for. She got bullied, and as a result, after spending a lot of money relocating from another country to the United States and working with someone, she has decided to leave the leave the company and is as a consequence leaving the country. And that's only after being here for 4 months. So it is important, both as an employee and as an employer, to define your values. Don't believe it's just like an employer has to define their values of the company. And that's true. An employer does need to define the values of the company and redefine the values of the company. I do it every year to make sure that these are still the values that we want to hold or uphold. And I'm glad to say that, for Elixir, our values are purity, clarity, and authenticity. We understand what that means. And we've never wavered from that. We keep challenging it, and it's important to challenge those values to make sure that you're aligned with them, but we haven't wavered from them. So it's important for companies to do that, but it is equally as important for employees to do that. Because of, like I said, you can't know if you're aligning with the right people if you haven't gone about the business of defining those values for yourself. If you are in a team, if you are the owner of a business, I would encourage you to pose this question to your employees. It's a really great thought exercise at a team meeting. It's a really great message to send in like a weekly email. I encourage the people that I work with who are my clients to have a community-based discussion forum. So either a Facebook group that's just for their company or an email system where an email goes out from management just with like thought experiments and discussions that you can come back in, a Slack group, something like that. This is a really great discussion to have if you've never had it with your team. What are your values? And some people will want to share them and other people won't want to share them. But it's important for you as an employer to know what your team's values are, and it's important for them to know what your values are. And I want to pose 2 examples here that both of these companies deserve a massive shout out. So an example of understanding a value structure of both company and employees. I want to shout out 2 companies, Baratza and Cropster. Both of these companies I have a massive amount of respect for. I want to start with Baratza. So Kira Kennedy from the CEO of Baratza, since coming on my podcast, she and I have become really close. We email all the time and we talk about different values, value structures in leadership. Kira is outstanding and I really look up to Kira, and just the thoughtfulness she brings to leadership is beautiful. It's strong, it's confident, it's compassionate, and it's thoughtful, okay? An example of this is when I sent out the email to the mailing list about this letter that had come to me and I had passed it on to everyone on the mailing list. Kira decided that she would share this email with the management team at Baratza to ensure that the staff that worked under all of the management team always felt supported. And not only did they just have someone they can go to, they could have multiple mechanisms for feeling safe and supported in the workplace. So that if by any chance some sort of predatory behavior had happened to slip through, that it would know it wasn't welcomed at Baratza. And bear in mind, predatory behavior is a value structure. And so one thing that the research definitely does show is that predators do not like to exist in environments where they know that it is difficult for them to elicit predatory behavior. So one way to get rid of that in the workplace is by shouting loud and proud that the value system that you have is all about a safe work environment. You do not put up with any kind of violence or aggression or bullying or sexual harassment or abuse or anything like that. So that's a really great strategy from a really strong leader who is insistent on providing a safe workplace for her team. Now, the other company that I wanted to shout out when it comes to value structures is Cropster. Excuse me. So last year I received an email from Paul Bartholomew from Cropster. He's the marketing manager over there, and unsolicited. It was really lovely to receive this email. And Paul and I ended up getting on a phone call, and he had said to me, "So I heard about this event that you're doing in Australia. Why aren't you on our radar? I have a list of events that get done every year, and your event wasn't. This is for the Sydney tour that we're doing, that we did last year, and we will hopefully do again this year." And Paul said to me, "Lee, your values are in alignment with our values, and we would love to get involved when you do this next year." And that is a really great example of when two companies or two people have gone about the business of defining their values, how you can see each other, how you can know. It's like a really great way of signaling to each other, "Hey friend, I'm the same kind of person as you are. I want to achieve the same kind of things out of life and business and work that you do." And that results to flow whenever you're working together. And so our relationship between Cropster and Map It Forward is always evolving and growing, and we're always looking for opportunities to work together, the same as Baratza, because we're so aligned and our value structures make sense. It says to me that not only is the value structure of the companies aligned with my company, the value structure of the leadership and the employees in those companies are also aligned, because like me, they go through the process of assessing anyone that works for their company's value structure so that they know that they can actually fit into what we're trying to create. So I hope that's really been helpful. If you haven't defined your values yet, I invite you to do so. There's loads of mechanisms on the internet to help you figure that out. If you would like a detailed deep dive into it, I would highly recommend checking out our webinar, Barista and Beyond. It's not just for baristas. It is called Barista and Beyond, Mapping a Successful 10-Year Career in the Coffee Industry. And it is designed to help anyone who's looking to have a professional career, not just a job in the coffee industry. And it will definitely help you understand how to choose the right employers for you, but it goes deeper than that. It takes a deep dive into life currencies and values and how you can make sure that you define them in such a way that you're winning and your employer ends up winning from your winning. It's all about conspiring to each other's success. On that note, Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.